how wholesalers are thriving in a down market, a quote unquote recession in wholesaling real estate. What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here.
Rick Ginn here.
And in today's video, we're talking all about how we are crushing it. Hate to say that word, but it's true. We are making more money than ever in a down real estate market, and how pretty much everybody that's actually listening to us and not the real estate wholesaling, people in the industry that haven't been through it, the gurus, quote unquote, how they're not listening to them and how they're actually listening to us and they're actually doing well. We showed you last week hundreds of thousands of dollars of checks people just send in every single month. It's because insane. They listen to us on exactly the real way to wholesale, right?
Yeah, it's the funny thing is we got so challenged at the beginning, like no skin in the game, no one's gonna have success. I will tell you right now, I believe our wholesaling group, like right here, we have more success stories than any other wholesaling operation out there, free or paid, hands down. You know how you do that? You just help people out, you show them exactly what you do, and you give them the actionable steps to take. The rest really is on your shoulders. So It's really a credit to what you guys are doing. And it really disproves that old school business model that I told you guys, everything is pay for play, because at the end of the day, you have to keep coming back. So the fact that you keep coming back to us and we don't go anywhere completely disproves that model. You guys are the ones having the success in doing it. So we've already broken that business mold, and it's up to you. If you guys want to take the actionable steps, it's there. I believe wholesaling is not complicated. I just think we overthink everything, and it's somewhat from our old mindset, because that's how we were brought up in school with our parents and our family. And the reason we do this channel is to help you break that mindset and show you the opportunity of wholesaling.
Exactly. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how the top wholesalers that are listening from us, how we're doing things in everyone, how exactly they're doing well in a down market, how you can do very well in a down market, and most importantly, guys, how you can crush this business during any down market, recession, whatever. Because heck, first of all, we're doing well. The people listening to us are doing well. People listening to the gurus are actually not doing well at all. And we'll show you why. And most importantly, we have somebody that's made millions of dollars during the last recession. And so that's why I learned from him. He's learning, I'm learning too. And I teach you guys how to do it. And that's why you guys are just having success, because you're actually listening to somebody that actually went through a recession and made millions of dollars. Now, I could tell you on my hand, I can count on one hand how many wholesalers on YouTube have actually been through a recession that's made over $1 million in assignment fees during 2008 to 2010. On my hand, it's as many people as I can count I know on YouTube, and 3 of them you probably don't even know about. They got like 200 subscribers, right? And so it's very rare you're gonna find somebody like that. And we have somebody right here that went through it. And so, guys, it's kind of funny, but it's like, all right, it's a very interesting quote that's on here, and you guys got to understand. It's like, all right, is it better to be a warrior in a garden or a gardener in a war? You want to be a warrior in a garden, right? Because when stuff gets bad, you can handle it. And so that's the thing. We've been in the garden, and we got a true warrior in the garden. And so when the stuff goes down, real estate might go down. There's a recession. You want to deal with somebody that's actually been through it. The people with no experience, why are you going to listen to them, right? And so that's what we're teaching today. And we've kind of flipped the switch on you guys, told you when we knew the writing was on the wall of the real estate market of how you can actually make more money. Shocker alert, you are going to make more money when real estate goes down, when it goes up. And we're going to explain why and all the strategies and everything you've done, right? That's what we're doing today.
And I've told you guys, if you watched me from the beginning, real estate market is very slow. So everyone's like, oh, when's the real estate market crash? I already told you, man, it is a long, long play. We are just now starting to see some signs of some stress tests, because the volume of real estate's dropped off, which is going to increase inventory levels. And then eventually, with the cost of homes these days and these interest rates, there is going to be pain. There's no doubt about it. Now, the question of the pain, I don't know. But real estate's always the last one to fall off. So it's going to follow the cyclical. We don't control the Feds, but the Fed has a huge impact on the real estate market. I'm going to tell you secretly, the Fed wants to bust open the real estate market, meaning they want it to put pressure on it so it has downward pricing, because they think that will help them bust the inflation. I honestly, I'll say a debatable thing. I question even what inflation is anymore, because the real value of money has dropped every day since I've been born. And so the way the government manipulates inflation, they changed it so many times. And so the question is, are they chasing something that creates, I think they're trying to bust the labor market and the real estate market. And I don't think they're going to stop until they accomplish both of them. But
today we're specifically talking about how to actually do well in wholesaling real estate during these times. We can't control what the Fed does. We can't.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. We can't control real estate values. We don't, right? And so what we're going to do today is show exactly step by step what to do. I think people, first and foremost, they associate a down market, a bad market, with a regular real estate investor. So I want to share this. When real estate goes down and I'm the average real estate investor, the average Joe, I bought a rental property and I rent it out. That's the average real estate investor. Don't you agree?
I agree.
And I would say the second most average real estate investor, most likely, is probably going to be somebody that maybe fixes and flips.
Definitely.
So you have the renter and the fix and flipper, right? The renter's way higher than the fix and flipper, but you have those two categories, or most of them. So you got those two, which happen to be our cash buyers, FYI. But really, those are the two. That's really wholesaling. Yes, there's millions of wholesalers, but there is millions and millions and millions and millions of those. Like the real estate investing economy are those people. And then you got the home builders and real estate investors, right? That's what I call. Okay. And then you got the realtor industry. So really you look at the realtor industry and then the investing community, which is rentals and flippers. When real estate prices go down, that hurts all three of those people. From the top, let's talk about if I'm a landlord, my equity goes down and I get less in rent and my costs stay the same. So as a rental person, oh my God, the real estate going down, this is ending everything for me, right? Of course.
Yeah, and if you didn't buy right, it's going to stress you out probably to sell your asset.
And they have, guess what? The worst part, a lot of them have a ton of debt on their house, on the rental property, because they all love debt. Oh, 1031, debt, refi, it's stressful for them.
And long-term tenants. They might have just signed a 1-year contract. And honestly, if it's not cash flowing with you and the tenant in there, how are you going to sell it? And that's the real struggle. That's what a lot of people are doing. This new market, which you forgot to add on that, is the short-term rental market.
I got the Airbnb people. So that's another thing too. But Airbnb, I'll tell you right now in this market, it's still very strong because real estate is going down. Not insane, but the economy, the people spending money is still very good. That hasn't really changed. So Airbnb is actually one of the most protected ones. If you're in a destination location, like if you're in Destin, Florida, Fort Myers, and you got like a place that's
water,
near the beach,
lake, mountain,
it's good.
Outside of that, you got issues.
Yeah. And then the next one's the flippers, right? So if I buy a house for $100K and I have an 8-month project, or let's do this, for example, I buy a house for $4 million. I'm a super ultra luxury flipper. I get a $4 million loan. Guess what happens? Real estate goes down 10%. It's now worth 3.6.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. And those are margins when you play it's rough margins to play with. And so when you flip it and you hold it for 7-8 months, real estate goes down, labor goes up. That's stressful for them. And then the realtors, it's like, come on. If I'm a realtor, I'm saying this nicely, I'm pretty done when it comes to a lot of things. All right. And I'm talking about for most realtors. And I'm saying that nicely. There are the 5% of realtors that I'm friends with that are like smart as a whip. Like if you're a realtor that makes over, I'm going to say 100K net after everything, you're like top 5% realtor, right? Those are not who I'm talking. I'm talking about the bottom 95%. This is all I know. List house, bid it, open house, next thing. They don't know how to build cash buyers. They're actually not really good at marketing. They do 2 or 3 properties. They get through their network of people they know and family. Those people, they're used to just clicking a button to list it, having the buyers come through, and like they don't do much work. I'm just being honest with you. That's the bottom of the barrel realtors. Unfortunately, that's 95% of them. When you can't click a button and buyers don't automatically come to you and you have to do this thing called working to get the property sold, which top 5% of realtors do it. That's why they get top 5%. Like wholesalers, top 5% of wholesalers actually have to do the real work. They don't do the lazy stuff. And so when real estate goes down, you have to work hard on your listings. You have to work hard on your buyers. And realtors don't like working hard and they only care about money. It's very tough for them. So for most real estate investors, when they see recession or market crash, scary, right?
Yeah.
But for us wholesalers, the people that everyone makes fun of, I call us the garbage men of the real estate industry. You know why? First of all, Waste Management makes billions of dollars. A person actually lives in our city. We have a tiny city we live in. He lived here, Wayne Huizinga, one of the richest men in the entire country.
Flew his helicopter over my house for like 15 years.
He owned the Miami Dolphins, which I respect. Owner of the Dolphins used to live here, and the Florida Panthers and the Marlins. All 3 sports teams lived in my city, which is insane. Flew his helicopter to the games. Billionaire upon billionaire, okay? He got rich off of something most people like scoff at. I think he founded Waste Management, right?
Yep.
all this stuff. We're the garbage men of this industry. Make billions of dollars, but it ain't the sexiest thing in the world, right? Like, but guess what Wayne Huizinga did in 2008, 2009? Do you think he lost money during the recession? Oh, no. People still got their trash, okay? Yeah. And the thing is, he made probably the same or if not more money during the recession, billions of dollars. So that's why I call us that, because when the recession hits, we deal with the garbage properties. We deal with the trash homes. And guess what? We get paid the same, if not more. And so that's why when the real estate goes down, us wholesalers probably make more money because we're dealing with the bottom of the barrel properties. And guess what? When real estate goes down and interest rates go up like we're doing right now, new home buyers, I think about my cousins that are in their mid-20s that are looking to buy their first home. They don't want to buy the super luxury. They want to buy the lowest price property they can.
Yeah, medium price. Yeah.
That is not in like the hood or something.
Yeah.
And those are actually the houses that we sell to the contracts we sell to the flippers and the landlords.
Yeah.
And so you're really looking at it like here, we are in the perfect time. Last thing here, BlackRock. So I think Blackstone, BlackRock split. BlackRock's the real estate part. They figured out in the past 3 years that they've been buying up real estate like crazy. And you got to do a lot of research to figure this out. But this is the truth. And this is why I figured this out really quick, why wholesaling these markets are the best. I never really knew why starter homes, houses that are older, that are still in decent neighborhoods that aren't like the hood, but they're not luxury.
Yeah.
Why are they the best for wholesaling? And why do I always tell everyone to do it? I never knew. They were the best places to wholesale, right? BlackRock bought a bunch of luxury rentals. They bought a lot of houses in the hood, and then they bought starter homes. And they're only basically buying starter homes, which are older houses that are smaller, that they don't have to put too much renovations and rent out. And they figured out that's the only houses they buy now. And that's driving the real estate up on those. And those are the houses that are usually the most distressed. Yeah. And I figured out if we can do that and focus towards those properties, you can get really rich in this business. So guys, I want you guys just, before we break down the info, which I know we're dropping a lot of info, but this is the stuff you need to know, not what you want to know, but you need to know that we are garbage men, waste management of this industry where, yeah, the realtors might not like us, but we make a lot of money when real estate goes down. When real estate goes up, we make money. And we're pretty much immune to it. And we don't have debt. That's the best part.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, I tell all of you, because I've been doing this, I'm on my 21st year, is being a wholesaler, do not try to explain to your family and friends, other than the ones that need to know, like what you do, because they'll never wrap their head around it. Perfect example. I went out to dinner last night. It was actually a little bit of a work function, but some friends showed up. It was an outdoor restaurant. And you know what the lady's question was? He goes, Rick, I know you're in real estate. Are you okay? Are you okay? And here's the guy, I don't even fight anymore. I go, I'm good. I'm going to survive. It's like, they just assume I'm getting my butt kicked when the real estate market's down, when actually it's quite the opposite effect. But this is the reason they talk to us like that, is because they assume we're some form of realtor. And I get it all the time. I laugh. Guys, wholesaling doesn't matter, because if you're a fix and flip, you have to speculate to a point. It's the only way it works. And if you're a buy and hold rent guy, you're playing out the real long-term gain, and it is not passive income. It's actually, you got to work for it. What we do, some people go, well, wholesaling's a job. Well, if it's a job, it's one of the highest paying jobs I know out there. You call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Wholesaling works. Like he says, regardless of the economy, you have to take your garbage out. Hopefully you have to take a shower. There's just some industries that stuff has to work. And what I learned is, whenever people hold back on decisions, which is what's happening right now, a lot of people like, I got low interest rates, I'm not going to go. The average person in the United States only keeps a mortgage for just under 6 years. Just 6 years, that's the average. So why do we do 30-year mortgages? Beyond me. So keep in mind, it is going to be a lot of pent-up demand. Because one thing I've learned, when the economy goes over a cliff, if it does, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm tired of people making predictions. It's like a bandwagon effect. So people just panic. So whatever's on CNN, Fox News, or something like that, like, oh my God, the economy's falling apart. And they create this self-fulfilling doubt. And that's when you start finding people like, oh my God, things are gone. I don't want the economy to break, just for full disclosure. I don't want people to suffer. But I've learned, when everybody else panics, I'm going to do the complete opposite. But if you wholesale every day, you don't have to change your mindset or your mentality. You just got to keep in tune with how the seller's feeling and what your cash buyers need.
Yeah. And for example, guys, you just can't assume that when the real estate market goes bad, it's bad. For example, when stocks go down, most people freak out. It's their 401k. But day traders love that stuff. They make a ton of money off of doing that, right? Do it. Yeah. And I know a guy we work out with. He runs a hedge fund. Rich dude. I like talking to rich guys. I'm always like, oh my God, are you freaking out over the market or whatever? He said, no. I figure out what he's a hedge fund, but he does commodity trading with like algorithm. And so he makes more money when it goes down because the algorithm. So it's like, guys, in wholesaling, we're day trading real estate to a point. And so what I mean by that is I call it month trading because it's really month trading because you only focus on real estate on the month value. So if you lock up a deal for 100, sell it for 110. 10K.
Yeah.
So it's like a stock. You buy it for 100, you sell it for 120. Here's the thing. You don't own the stock. You own the option on it.
But you have a lot more control, in my opinion, in wholesaling real estate.
You have to actually put money down
because you're putting risk. And honestly, you're not control of the outcome. You look at information and you hedge your bet, which is what we call, it is speculating to a point because there is risk. And guys, I would tell you.
Well, the risk for wholesaling is your marketing. And if you get out with the inspection period.
Correct. But you give me 10 successful wholesalers and 10 successful day traders, and unless they're trading with incredible resources, like millions, if not billions, there's just no comparison.
Night and day. And so that's the reason is because the risk for day trading is all your money. The risk for wholesaling is the cost it did to print that paper. And so that's the cool part about this business. And so that's what we want to get into today and really just share, because I'm telling you, you make more money and you do more deals in a recession than in a regular market. And you're living proof of it. And a lot of real estate investors that went through it have done it too.
So guys, just understand, from 2008 to 2012, it was like a promised land that I've never seen. But the thing is, when you're in it, people don't recognize it till you're out of it. And that's what I want to make you aware of it today. You're looking around like, so the wholesaling is you don't have to predict the future. That's the beauty of this business.
Month trading.
When you do fix and flip, and you do rentals, you do have to hedge a lot of long-term stuff. But the reality is, I remember 2010, 11, I'm just like, man, this is a lot cheaper than it normally is. But like when you're in it, you don't recognize it. And it takes an incredible discipline and like thinking outside of what the norm is, because all you hear is negative news. Guys, when you start hearing negative about real estate, it's just a matter of time before it gets to the seller's computer or TV, and then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But people are like, I don't understand, real estate hasn't fallen off the cliff. I told you from day one, it is an 18 to 36 month cycle before you even get into it. And you got to understand, the dig out is just as long. And so we're evening out on inventory, prices are flattening, and it's really challenging to get a mortgage right now. So if you guys have ever had someone getting qualified for a mortgage and stuff, the underwriting requirements are still very strict from the last fiasco we went through. So people actually have to make money. And remember, every time that interest rate goes up, it's going to put downward pressure on what the end buyer can afford.
True.
And that's why you have to stay right now. Now is not a time to go to these speculative homes. That time, that book's shut because you're taking tremendous risk. So stick in your medium price homes or below, because that's where the sellers. So remember, if someone buys a $300,000 home and they're getting a 6 or 7% interest rate, dude, the numbers are really big on it. And you got to understand, they got to come up with at least 3 to 5% plus 3-month escrow and all the closing fees. They're still coming up with, 40, 50 grand just to buy a first starter home. Like, the world has changed on it. And then the payments are like through the roof. Now they can refinance down the road type of deal. And remember, most of those people are getting like what they call mortgage insurance, which adds $200 a month to their normal payment. So this is the stuff that's going to stress it. The lower price homes are going to get more pressure to sell, and the upper echelon homes, people are they're going to get competitive. They're going to include closing costs. It used to be really cool to get a flat screen TV. I don't think anybody cares anymore. I've even seen cars thrown into it. So we're going to watch that unfold. I think by this summer, you're going to see some serious incentives for people selling prices well above the median price in your market.
I mean, we can see it. So guys, just letting you know, the past 2 to 3 years of wholesaling ain't the quote unquote real wholesaling that many experienced wholesalers are used to. This might be a shocking statement, but guys, think about what used to work, right?
Last 10 years has been a unsustainable wholesaling market. And most of the gurus and trainers, they built their entire business models off this, and they're about to have culture shock. I'm telling you.
What you got to understand is we're going to break down what used to happen and what has changed. And the people that listen to our content, why do you think we do lives? Why do you think we post so many videos? Because when I post a video and it's like, but Zach, you talked about that topic like 4 months ago. I'm like, the game changed 4 months ago. Guys, I have to change my strategy basically every single month. Like every single day I look at what happened. And there's always this cool chart. It's like, all right, it's like, what's your progress and what changes? In a day, not much. In a week, there's a little bit things, but like in the month, it's like, it's insane. In years, it's crazy. But why do you think I post so many videos? And a lot of the videos are maybe the same topic, but it's a completely different video because the game has changed. And here's the cool part. I now wholesale, not in just my market, not in just this, everywhere in the country. So I have a pulse on every single wholesaling market pretty much. I know what's working where, what's not working where. And
which is a goal. Yeah. Which is a goal we want to do here. I'm working with you guys, not only teaching you how to find the deals, but like JV with the people that bring really great deals. And I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun. Me and Zach have learned a lot from doing this. And to me, it's the best way to connect with you. And like, it's a great opportunity because you can still do a deal with us without buying a huge course or doing anything like that. And we're always going to make that available to you because that's how you find out what's going on in wholesaling. Guys, I've been adapting since 2003. This is nothing new. He's seeing it kind of firsthand. We had a 10-year run really from 2013 to right about 2012 to 10 years. I thought it was nuts. I'm like, man, if everybody thinks it's this easy, they're not. So now we're starting to reset a little bit and you're seeing wholesalers kind of come and go. The true OG wholesalers, the ones that can stick out the hard times, you're going to flourish amazing when we get through it because you're going to get all the right deals. You'll be able to do creative financing deals and you can move forward. I don't wish ill on this market, but I'm prepared. And I don't panic when 95% of the rest of the country goes, oh my God, what am I gonna do? My real estate prices are falling. In my day, you bought a piece of real estate and then you sold it 20 years later. And if you made a profit, you did well. And now everyone thinks they're gonna make $100,000 after they buy a house after 3 months.
And so this is very similar to my people I know in North Carolina, South Carolina. And so as a guy that's been born and raised in Florida, same
FL.
The same thing with you to a point. I mean, not born in Florida, but I'll tell you, raised in Florida, me too. Whenever there's a hurricane, I kind of just roll my eyes. I look at it. I'm like, okay, do this, put the shutters up, deal with it, right? I don't have shutters anymore, but I got the hurricane windows. But like, that's the thing. It's like, for me, it's like 2 or 3 times a year, hurricane, nothing to me, right? And the thing is, like, if a hurricane's going to hit somebody in North Carolina, the world's ending. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they really.
And here's I've been through it. I know what the worst is going to happen. I know the best. I can see the forecast. I know the cool part. That's easy. But the thing is, that's how the real estate market is. A huge hurricane blowing off the coast of Africa with the Sahara Desert and then it vortexes and comes over. I know a hurricane's coming like a week or 2 before. You know what's a tornado? Because a tornado happens like this.
That happens all the time.
And so here's the thing. The real estate market's like a hurricane. We have the forecast. We know kind of the spaghetti model and we kind of can guess how hard it's going to hit and where. And that's the point. Like we have a hurricane, it's hitting, but like we know it's not going to be a category 5. It's like a category 1, maybe 2 that might hit us. Like nothing crazy, right? Yeah. And so just letting you guys know, it's not that crazy, right? And so you just got to understand that why do people in Florida not really care about hurricanes? Like I've been through it so many times
because they overhype every one of them, and I get
phase
PTSD on spaghetti models because they're trying to anticipate a storm off Africa 2.5 weeks before it hits us. They go, oh, it looks like it's heading towards Florida. And what we've learned is even when I didn't do real estate, I had a tough time keeping my 50 employees focused because all they do would watch the TV and the computer, and like we would shut down business for a week, and then the dang thing never hit us, and then we lose revenue for an entire week. And I don't want you guys to do the same.
A lot of people do too. So like you look at it, you make your best guess, you go from there. But but here's the thing. I have it because I have all the preparations at my house if a hurricane's gonna hit. Like I'm prepared. Like, so that's the thing about me.
Got your spam?
I got my spam. But I'm just letting you guys know. Here's the most important part I have to tell you. And this is a very scary statement, but it's one of the most truest statement you have to know as a wholesaler. If there's only one thing I can tell you guys about what we're trying to talk about today, it's adapt or die. And I say that in the nicest way possible.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about your business. If you do not adapt your wholesaling business, that business will die. And I can tell you 100%. I see it every single time. It's how entrepreneurship works. If you are going in the way of phones and you end up being like a Motorola, which I think so talk about BlackBerry. It's like, okay, we know where smartphones are going. We're going to completely just ignore it and keep going on what we're doing.
Blockbuster it
and just ignore what's going on. Ignore it. Ostrich in the sand, don't look at it and just don't adapt with what's going on. You're going to fail. And the issue is when you have a wholesaling business, yes, the fundamentals are the same, but the ways you go around it are different. And so again, I've said it a million times, why do I put so many videos, so much content, so many live streams? Because this business changes so many times that I have to. Not that I want to, because I have to. I'd love to do one video a year and that'd be it, right? I can't do it.
Some people do that.
It changes, right? And so the thing is, if you're listening to people that have never been through a quote unquote real estate hurricane. Why am I going to listen to him? It's getting advice from somebody that's never been through a hurricane, how to deal with a hurricane. It's like, how am I going to listen to you? And that's the thing about business that you guys have to understand. It's a TV show on Apple Plus. It's called Ted Lasso. I think you heard it. It's a football guy tries to be a soccer. It doesn't work like that. I'm just letting you know. That's not how it works. You got these Ted Lassos out here that never made $1 million in wholesaling trying to teach you how to do it. And the thing is, you either have to adapt your business or you're going to die off. And the cool part is we got our live streams. We're always going to update you. We're always going to tell you, like they had this little thing come by called the Novation, and pretty much every title company in Florida, in our area, says no to them. And it's funny, the people selling Novation courses,
it's the highest failure rate of contracts.
I'll tell you this, I won't put too much shade here, but the people that are actually selling the biggest Novation courses, their own title companies denying, and they have to go to other title companies to do it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So guys, when we talk about adapt and die, I've been doing this business 21 years, and we're going to talk about what the changes are, but I've constantly had to make changes and they're painful. And one of the reasons I'm partnered up with my son is because he had to grab me. Like, I wasn't doing cold calling back when
doing texting.
I know. And I was just like, wow. And I got like a lot of like my counterparts in the business, like, well, what I do work, I make plenty of money. You're like, dude, you're leaving so much money on the table. Fix it. So I had to have my son sit down and grab me and go, listen, look at the opportunities you're missing. Let's just give it a shot. He goes, give me the resources. And he put in the effort, and I was blown away with it. And so now we collaborate on everything. And, we argue about stuff because like some stuff I'm like, well, I don't want to do. What if it doesn't work out? And he's like, well, what if you don't change? What is the future of our business?
You were so mad when I dropped $4,000 on skip tracing. You never spent that. You never spent that much money on. You never spent money on skip tracing. And then the next one was like, all right, we're gonna drop $1,000 a month on texting. You're like, texting?
Yeah.
Like you were terrible in texting. You used to think LOL meant lots of love. Okay, just FYI.
Guys, I still have to Google when people give acronyms. I'm like, what does this mean? Like,
you used to text my sister
WTH. I'm like, what does that mean?
You used to text her LOL, like, hey, just checking on you, LOL. And she was so like, what is wrong with you?
LMAO. So I had to Google all this stuff, but like, guys, I'm here to tell you.
This is 2009, 10. Like, this is way back. But I'm telling you, like, he was like, that to talk to sellers? No. And lo and behold, it ended up making a ton of money. So
we try everything. And like with our venture with the AI and stuff, what I'm saying is, honestly, if I didn't venture up with him, I still would have done well. But like the resources we bring to the table, because he pushes the limit, and I have the wisdom and a lot of market cycles. I went through the worst real estate market cycle in all of them, wholesaling. And boy, did I learn some valuable lessons. Yeah. And then he's added a bunch of techniques for finding great deals. And that's why we work so well together. I'm not going to tell you like we're perfect all the time. Sometimes I got to put him in a headlock and just give it to him. But honestly, it's a lot of times he's doing it to me, and we work well. But that's what you need in a business, because if you think you know it all and you're just going to do it your same old way, you're crazy. So in the last 10 years, we've had what I call a huge disruption in wholesaling. And unfortunately, a lot of that wave is dead now because they abused it in the guru industry. And now we're going back to old school tactics that work. And now we have this new wave of AI. So there's always going to be a new shiny object. You got to find out how to harness it, use it fast. And that's why we have more videos, more lives than anybody else out there, because a video after sometimes a week, it's just no good anymore. So we like to keep it relative.
Some are though. I'll tell you that.
They are. And I think it's the greatest way to connect with you guys with these lives. So we've done the best combo with it. So we went through a lot of adapt and die ourselves.
Yeah.
And, he was looking at, he went to college. He was a smart kid. He had a lot of choices, but he saw I had freedom of time and I had all the money I wanted. He's like, well, why am I going to go get a regular job? And then it was a lot for me as a father going, hey, listen, why am I going to let this 17-year-old kid rip my business apart? And honestly, he had a lot of great ideas. He just needed some wisdom and direction. Yeah, and now it's dead split. Like we both contribute to everything. So if you have that opportunity in your business, you always got to look at it new. And I don't look at what my competition does. I only look at what types of deals can we get? How can we connect with them? And what do our buyers want? That's it. You guys spend too much time focusing on your competition. Most of them are lying to you anyways. I've spent way too much of my 20 years career worrying about what my competition is doing. Once you forget about them, it's a huge relief off of you, and you can focus on things that will actually get you deals.
That's it. It's so funny. But I just telling you guys, and like when a lot of people out here, I don't want to go on tangent, but when you have a partner, you and your partner together shouldn't 2x the results. It has to 4x. Like you and I, when we combine, we about, I'd say 6x our result. We don't double it, because double it, you split it, you make the same amount.
Well,
That's the point.
you
So
create a synergy. That's the minimum. If you partner up with
Yeah.
someone, if somebody, and by the way, when you let a partner buy into your business, boy, like you can sell anything. The problem is you give up a lot of control and a lot of directive control.
Yeah.
And to me, that's hard. Now, if I want to bring in a partner and I can, a minimum, I would tell them that you have to double my business. And if you can't do that, why would I partner with you? Because now I got to train you, do everything. And so the idea is you got to bring someone that complements what you do. So Zach did a lot of it. And any of you have ever worked with family, it's harder than you think it is because you know the person, you know them their entire life, especially if they're your kids. So it's a unique relationship. It's tough. Me and my wife worked in the business and it was challenging when we started because she didn't understand wholesaling. She was a school teacher turned into a realtor, and trying to have her understand my world was different. So Zach grew up seeing it the whole time. He just wanted to figure out how like we could adapt the industry to really maximize it.
And that's it. And then I figured out how annoying these real estate gurus and coaches are. I'm like, let me just give everything for free. Well, we both kind of came out that together, and let's just change them, not change the way, change the minds of the wholesaler.
Yeah.
To actually open their mind up of what's actually possible learning for free. And you know, it's someone will come back in 50, 60, 70 years if we're not here anymore, and they'll change it another way, right? So you just got to adapt or die. Like, for example, we tried RVM, and then everyone started getting sued from RVMs, and we stopped.
Oh.
But RVMs could have been the most amazing thing ever. We just had to test it out. Now it worked, but it's not worth getting sued.
And we were in a state where it wasn't going to work. And you know what the reality, guys, is we're in a society where all we do is copy each other. And don't get me wrong, copying what we do will get you started. But at some point, you've got to take control of your own ship and put your own spin on it. And some of the stuff's going to work out wildly wonderful. And some of it, you're like, that was a terrible decision. But that's how you learn in this journey. My challenge with gurus and coaching, it's nothing personal. It's all the same regurgitated, duplicated stuff to generate revenue. And that's my problem is, so this industry's time for a massive change. The old school coaching model, I've already told you, I'm out to change it. It doesn't work. And if you notice, like, once again, I'm not doing references, but all the people with the big paid programs, they all stick together. Why? Because they have a collective interest. So the person who goes against it, we're different. You guys are ready for a change. The world has changed, technology's changed, and you need a more collaborative effort to where you can do deals without having to pay these big giant fees, regardless of where you are, how old you are, and how much money you have. I think it's an antiquated service.
I agree. And one thing I'll tell you is I don't think these gurus, I want everyone to understand, clarify, we don't think they're inherently evil because they charge you for learning it. You know, everyone does that. That's fine. The big issue I've had, and I still have, and I always had, is the information suck. And that's always the problem. Like, I get, okay, you're spending your time, fine, you got to pay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But the issue is you're paying for trash info.
But you can't look at the info even before you do it.
And that's the problem. And so I always look at them like, all right, how can a broke kid, 17, 18, 19 years old, make 100K? That's bare minimum in my opinion. Yeah. That's life-changing money for any 18, 19-year-old, because wholesaling is the last freedom for it. You can't get any information unless you pay $5,000 for that with the guru. That's my problem with the guru. No, I see $200, $300 coaching programs. I'm like, fine. It's not terrible, but the info sucks.
Yeah. And
that's the issue I have. And it's always a funnel to something crazier. And so my main issue with gurus, and I want everyone to understand, people think, oh, it's because they charge. It's like, no, it's because their information is so bad. And it drives me crazy. But guys,
how do we know it's bad? Because a lot of you guys do guru course and then you come here and you get success with us and you're like, my God, yours is night and day. We make ours 100% transparent. Every guru has my course. I know they're copying it and doing it, but like, listen, I could give you the roadmap on how to find it. Like at the end, you have to take the action. You got to do the actionable steps to do it. And that's why I know. But to me, it's like, would you give a stranger $5,000 or $10,000 not knowing exactly what you're getting in return? Because that's how most courses are. And by the time you paid, you're never getting your money back. Like it's going to be like, you're going to be pulling teeth to do it. And that's the challenge. My thing is, if you could look at the course, take like a 7-day, trial run to see if the content's there, see what the coaching looks like, stuff like that.
GetAFreeWholesale.com.
I would actually be fine with that. But why is every course you can't get any transparency?
Why is every course $5,000?
There's got to be a reason for it. And guys, when I started, these courses were $20,000 and money's worth 3 times what it was back then. So that just shows you the dilution process, because there's a big narrative out there, like you can make millions coaching people. Let me show you how to do it. And there's what you can collect all the money you want, but at the end, they have to fulfill their obligation. And if you ever try to coach 1,000 people and promise this personal service, someone's getting disappointed.
So our problem is the information
info.
It's the thing. And then it's the exorbitant rates. It's insane. But guys, I want everyone to understand, I don't go after gurus because they just charge $1. That's not my issue. I do believe in a free market, but the free market of the info sucks. And if I can give it for free, why are you going to pay for it? Right. It drives me crazy. But freewholesaling.com, hundreds of thousands of people in there. Yeah. There's a reason why it works. And so let's get into this too. You know, what used to work in wholesaling? What used to be the method that every guru talks about now, but they're not they refuse to adapt. To this day, there are gurus that say the seller wants too much, do an ovation. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Listen, there's a rare incident. So a novation is nothing more than a replacement of a contract to help a seller solve a problem that you can't make work. Like, so every now and then you put it under contract, you have a realtor that has a buyer for it. You pull your contract out, they put her in it. That's an ovation. It's just a natural thing. But now we're trying to manipulate it for profit and eliminate our risk and put all the onus on the owner and record like highly legal documents. And if it's got a 55% failure ratio, most investors don't understand on the back end, if they don't unwind these documents correctly, they're actually opening up the lawsuits. And that's my challenge with it. They stop doing these. Somebody puts out messages, I have an easier way than wholesaling. If you guys are going to listen to that message, you're in trouble. Like, that's a terrible. So we've gotten so good at catering to solving the problem, but the heart of our problem is the problem actually being solved? Or are we just selling something? So we have to understand, doing stuff the correct way and the hard way is usually the fastest, easiest path. But somehow we've created a society where everybody wants an easy button. Everybody wants to eat whatever they want, do what they want, sleep in, and understand why they don't have this an amazing life. You got to put in the work. There is no substitute. I don't care what you do. And guys, you win the lottery, you're going to have more hurting if you don't understand the discipline of how money works, because you're just going to give it away to people like me and Zach.
Guys, you got to stop listening to gurus. And I'm going to tell you one thing about the gurus, and we're getting the info. I'm getting a lot of trouble for saying it, but it's absolutely true. This is going to be funny.
Should I need to yank the mic out? Or
you're going to yank the mic from me. Here's the thing. All right. Why I tell you not to listen to gurus. I get so much flack. Zach, why do you always say these gurus are broke? Because they actually are broke. I'll give you one example. I'll give you two examples of two separate gurus on two separate incidences. All right. There's one guru that always bragged about making millions and millions and millions of dollars.
There's more than one.
And, you know, everything, right? And guess what happened to them? They got sued from another partner guru because they couldn't, I think one guy, so they were selling $5,000 coaching programs. Yeah. And I'm not mentioning anything. And their partner was actually collecting all the money for the coaching program. And they go on social media, I make millions of dollars wholesaling, right? And the one guru, because they're gurus, decides, I'm not going to pay my partner anymore. Yeah. And they just cut them off. They say, F you, I own the payment processor, I have the bank, and then they split off. And guess what happens? That now that guru is not making any coaching revenue, and they talk a bunch of smack about the person, and then the other guru who took all the money starts suing the other guy because he knew the guru that's making millions. This is a popular guru. Was actually really broke. And so what happened was the guy got sued, and he figured out he had to spend 50 grand on a lawyer. Guess what? That guru that makes millions of dollars wholesaling, he wholesaled like 1 or 2 deals. And guess what? Now he has to come up with 50 grand. He creates a GoFundMe. Yeah.
A GoFundMe.
GoFundMe. And he can't literally afford the lawsuit because he can't make money coaching anymore. Yeah. And his wholesaling, apparently, I guess those millions weren't true. And it ended up, guys,
most gurus are making their money from coaching. Like, just be brutally honest with
that's one thing. That's one example I want to let you guys know. And there's another example. You guys can look it up. And here's one example. And I'm going to say this nicely. And this is the one I'm saying in the most endearing and nicest way possible. But there are other gurus out here that are very, very popular. And some, unfortunately, have passed away. And they have GoFundMes to go because they can't afford the actual funeral. And I'm not saying that in a mean way or a derogatory way, but it's like this person, their entire life, they were the person making millions of dollars, and everybody thought that. And then unfortunately, something bad happens that you need a GoFundMe to actually afford to bury them. It's the saddest thing ever. And we've helped, but it's like, it's insane. And so the thing is, you guys see everyone on social media, and then when the truth arises and they have to come time for a funeral or something, they can't afford it. And it just shows you, I'm saying this in the nicest way possible, but these gurus out here, they can brag all they want, but when the truth comes out, they don't have the money. And those are two separate instances. There's a million other things like that. And these are people you can figure out yourself. But I'm just letting you know that when I say these gurus are broke, they actually are broke, legitimately broke. And so you can't listen to them, because if you put your hard-earned dollars into them and your hard-earned time and effort to try to feed your own kids and family, you're bidding that attention to people that are actually broke. And that's not going to lead you to wholesaling success. And so when your kids, their kids' future, your wife's future, your family's future is on the line, why are you going to bet it all on a person that's actually broke? It drives me crazy.
Yeah, guys, most gurus, they bank on the fact you're not going to ask a lot of hard questions. Guys, trust me, it sounds perfect what's offered. If it sounds too perfect, most likely you're going to have an issue. So before you invest, you have two ways you invest. You invest with your money. If you're going to sign up for someone's program, I'm all for it if that's what you want to do. Make sure you have access to it. Make sure you find out how many people are involved in the program, the refund policy, and like, is it one-on-one, is it group, or like, how does this work? And how long do I have access to the program? And you've got to understand that, because the biggest complaint we see is we didn't know all this stuff. There was even one guru at one point. You had to sign an NDA.
Oh, that's a separate one. Yeah.
You had to sign an NDA before you even sign up the course. Think about that for a moment. You're not allowed to say one word. Why? So the fact that we take over 26 years combined experience and make it public, not only for you guys, for any guru who wants to do it, I got nothing to hide, man. I'm just putting it out there because honestly, I'm on a mission to help out as many possible people in wholesaling. And the best way I can do it is just make it free and access to everyone. And then we have a 95% failure rate. Me and Zach look at it. We are 100% because all we do is help. And that's the end of the story. So guys, the second way you spend your money is with your time. So we really appreciate when you guys tune on these. There is an expense running all this, even though we make it free. We pay. Trust me, we pay out of our pocket.
I already explained this. It's not $100K a month, but it's very close. It's tens of thousands of dollars just to run this channel, just to run our social medias and everything. You got to remember, we have an extra video editor that works full time. So I have 2.5 really. So the other person's freelance, but 2 full-time salaries for video editors that worked at huge like cable channels that do all of it, right? And then on top of that, we have to host freewholesaling.com, which is very expensive, the website. And then we host a lot of other things. And so it's very expensive. So the reason why No Guru does what we do, No Guru does the live streams we have, is because they can't really afford tens of thousands of dollars every month to just host what we do.
Yeah.
We lose a ton of money doing that. Oh, but he makes money on YouTube. I'll tell you this, the money I make on YouTube doesn't even cover one person's salary. It doesn't cover one person's salary. And so I'm just letting you know, I tell you the truth on this. If God forbid we get cut off all social media, I don't have to go to a GoFundMe for you to fund my lifestyle. I'm telling you, I got enough passive income coming in. We can just go ghost and not deal with it. But we do it because we know it helps the people. I have gurus currently, as of this video, threatening to excommunicate me. I've been told this. Excommunication is I'm so scared. It's a very specific, like, cult word. Yeah. I was told that because of what I've said about gurus, that everybody in the coaching industry is going to blacklist me.
I love it.
From being on events. I'm like, what?
It just honestly, it just refortifies our position. So if I get endorsed by a guru,
run.
You guys better run, man, because it means I joined the posse.
Exactly. So let's talk about this. So what used to work, guys? A wholesaler used to be this person that was like, okay, don't worry on dispositions. You have a deal and you send it to a buyer and they'll buy it instantly for the highest price possible and they'll buy everything. And like people used to lock up deals for whatever the seller wanted, give it to a cash buyer, make 30 grand.
Last 10 years.
It's crazy.
It was insane.
And so it was nuts. But still, you can still make the same margins now. And I'm going to tell you why. But what works now? You just got to do this simple thing. Treat your cash buyers like sellers. And what do I mean by this? How do you treat your cash buyer? Treat them like a seller. So how do you treat a seller? You follow up with them. You care about them. You listen to them. You ask them questions.
You listen carefully what they want.
Their wants and needs.
Yeah.
And you provide solutions to their wants and needs. People used to treat cash buyers like trash. You work for me. I don't work for you.
I only need one. I only need one.
Guys, treat your cash buyers with legit respect and they'll reciprocate back to you. I have cash buyers that buy my deals, not because of the price, but because they know how easy I am to work with. Yeah. They have a relationship and they keep wanting to buy properties from me. So when I get a really good deal, they'll actually buy. I have cash buyers that'll buy deals that are marginal at best for them just so they can get a really good deal from us. And this is a really important part too. Make your cash buyers money. This is something that's never been done before the past, I'll call it 3 years. UK 10, I'll call it 3 years. A lot of these cash buyers used to sell deals with no meat on the bone, where the cash buyer legit would lose money on the flip. Guys, I make sure my cash buyers make money, because when I have one cash buyer and they make money, they come back. Yeah. It's insane. It's like Chick-fil-A. The experience is so good. The experience is so good, I'm coming back. And the thing is, if your cash buyers make money, they're going to come to you. And guess what happens? There's competition, because when real estate goes down, it's really easy to get deals. In my market, there might be 15 wholesalers sending properties to this one cash buyer. But here's the thing. It's like, okay, Burger King, McDonald's, all these fast food restaurants are trying to compete for my lunch. I'm going Chick-fil-A. Yeah. It's amazing, right? And that is the thing you have to understand. If the cash buyer makes good money with you, they're going to go with you every time versus the other competition. And not a lot of people talk about this or think about this, and no guru ever talks about this at all. This is the truth. There is competition for you sending deals out when deals are easy. It's supply and demand. Yeah. And so if you have a track record of making the cash buyer money on the deal, you'll do well too, right?
Now guys, I've heard people go, the guy who bought it off me made 30, 40 grand more than me. That's what you want to hear. That's the goal of our business. Every now and then you can cherry pick and wholesale a deal once you get established. I'm not knocking against that, but you don't want to get in the fix and flip, because for everyone tells me they made 50 or 100,000, I can give you 10 more horror stories where they got killed. My first wholesale deal, and I swear on this, I got it from a realtor. I sold a guy at 10 grand. I was ecstatic. The guy sold it, I believe, 8 or 9 months later for $350,000 profit above what I did. And I got a little bit pissed at first. And then I thought about it. I go, you know what? He's been in the game longer. I provided a service. He saw the value. He executed fast. It accomplished something for me. Without that 10 grand, I don't know that I'd be sitting here with you now. And so now I know how to make more money on the deals. I probably could have made 50. I just didn't know how to ask for it. And a lot of you are in that scenario right now, and you're learning. But the guy came back to me like 100 more times, and I sold a few more properties, but eventually it fizzled out. But you want your cash buyers to be successful. At the end of the day, the cash buyers are your customer. And for some reason, the last 10 years, you've been told the complete opposite. Don't worry about them. They're the easiest thing in the world. You can't just keep bouncing back and forth. Keep in mind, if you appease your cash buyers, it doesn't mean you work for them. It just means you have more options as a wholesaler. More options means you have more things available to you. If you're just going to hang yourself on one cash buyer and make them follow prompt commands and make sure they comply to you like a soldier, in this market, you're going to get a rude wake-up call, because you can't do that. It doesn't mean you let people drag you around. Nasty people, get rid of them. Don't get me wrong. But if you treat them with respect, you do your homework, and you want them to make a profit, that's fine. If you don't want your cash buyers to make a profit, get out of wholesaling now, because it's not going to work. You need to be a realtor if you want to do it the other way. Have people buy it and then sell it 10 years later. Anybody can make a profit doing that.
Exactly. And the last part here too is low ball. Okay, this has not been talked about ever. Low ball. This has not been done. People just did if you could treat your cash buyers with respect and focus really hard on your dispo and low ball, and here's the most important quote: only deal with motivated sellers. Yeah. That's it. I want to sell my property. Oh, that's a deal. No. Yeah. Are you is there a motivation? A lot of people are so scared to lowball. I can tell you, it is so much more scary when you figure out that you can't sell the deal than lowballing.
It's horrifying. And in the last 10 years, we've treated everybody who wants to sell a house like they're a great fit for wholesaling. It's complete BS, guys. It was never this way when I started. And honestly, if you think you're going to go on MLS and just knock it out of the park on wholesaling, you're in for a world of pain. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it can't be done, but starting out as a new strategy, if you're going to buy an MLS course, you're going to get excited in the beginning because it seems super easy. I got the property, I got pictures, I got a phone number, I got an offer price. Guys, this is simple. I'm just going to tie it up and flip it. Dude, your pain's just begun, because the back end is a complete nightmare. And honestly, if you think you're going to hide it from the realtor, you want to know why wholesalers and realtors get a bad rap together? We're just festering this and making it worse. Now, I'm just telling you, you have to be a cash buyer for these properties, but going on MLS, if you are not seasoned, you don't understand your market, and you're not connected with realtors that understand what you're doing, and you're just going to go spam all expired listings and 90-day-old listings, It's going to get painful. I'm not saying you can't do it, but to me, it is the toughest route you can do. And it's probably one of the top selling courses right now. And I'm here to tell you, off-market properties work a lot better. And me and Zach give you the exact path to find it. I'd rather you have 10 quality conversations with motivated sellers than 9,000 conversations with people that don't even want to do business with you. That's the easiest way to get out of this business.
And the last part I'll tell you, first of all, we do have that free MLS wholesaling course at freewholesaling.com. There's a right way to wholesale in the MLS.
Yeah.
Go there. And the last thing I want to tell you is, everyone thinks, and this is a huge problem. This is a problem in the stock market, the real estate market, any market in general. People think, okay, if real estate prices are going to go down, it's going to be just like 2008. History is going to repeat itself exactly to a point, right? No. Mark Twain said this in the 1800s. It's the truest quote about anything in real estate investing. History doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. And what that means is it's going to be similar, but it's not going to be the same exact. For example, in 2008, when real estate went down, it was kind of it was a real estate crash. What we're having is kind of a consumer crash where prices are so high that the consumers don't want it. It's not, interest rates weren't the thing stopping things in 2008, 2009. This is closer to a 70s or 80s type crash for real estate, which really wasn't a crash. It wasn't that insane. And so I'm just letting you guys know that this isn't, and in the 70s, we didn't have a war, right? So it's completely different. And so I want you guys to just know that history, it's going to rhyme with this market. It's not going to be like a previous market before, but it's going to be a little similar. And so every hurricane is not the same, but you can sort of tell how it works. Some are category 5s, 2008. Yeah. This one's going to be like a category 2. So if you're traumatic, like, oh my gosh, I remember the last hurricane, it's not going to be like that.
That was a 1 in 100-year storm we went through.
It's like saying every single hurricane's going to be Katrina or Hurricane Andrew. It's not.
When he talks about the rhyming thing, guys, think about the factors that drive the real estate market. And there is one big conglomerate that's bigger than any company in the world that the minute they meddle in anything, it just falls apart. So what caused the crash in 2007-8?
Subprime mortgages, pretty much.
And
banking.
Yeah. And you know who backed all those securities on all those mortgages?
Government.
The government.
Yeah.
And so they create incentives. Everyone does it. And people go, oh my God, anybody can write a mortgage and the government has to back it up. That's what created that huge bubble. Now we're coming out. Now the Fed's kind of driving the ship with interest rates and with inflation. So it's not the exact same, but it's the same rhyme. And so you guys can learn from the history lesson. One of my favorite things to do is go back and study like the last 50 years of the real estate market. And he's completely correct. People are trying to duplicate what happened in 08. You can't. You just got to look for the rhyme. You bring the government in and they start doing it. So what they're trying to do, in my opinion, is bust the labor market and keep real estate market prices in check. And unfortunately, when markets bust, the question is how severe does it get? Because it's really hard to bring it back. So when real estate bust, it is a long cycle to come back. We just went through a 10-year run, guys, unheard of. And we had the lowest interest rates in record history. And I don't think we're ever going to see interest rates like that again. I grew up in a world where 7.5% was phenomenal. And now because prices are so high, it's a little bit more challenging. So look at the rhyme because he is 100% right on that. We're all looking for the exact same playbook in 08. You're not going to find it. Just look for the rhyme. That will help guide you in what you're doing. And when people panic, study more, understand what's going on, and think long-term. Remember, I don't care what anybody says, wholesaling is a marathon. The people that come in here are sprinters. They're typically going to be coaches and gurus that want to get in and out of wholesaling. Guys, I don't get in and out of wholesaling. I've been here 21 years. I'm not going anywhere.
Exactly. So guys, just understand that and you'll be led wholesaling success. Guys, do not panic. This is something you can make a lot of money with. And I think a lot of wholesalers get really freaked out over that. But here's the last part about hurricanes and real estate investing. It makes me, the similarities are insane. So for example, hurricanes are really scary for people in my market, which it's true. But here's the thing. Every time a hurricane happens, I have the biggest boom of my entire life for wholesaling like a year later because all the houses are damaged. Guess what happens? When the economy gets damaged, all the houses get damaged too, and that's great for wholesaling. And it doesn't take a year. It takes literally instantaneously. So yes, there might be a storm that comes, but just like wholesaling with a hurricane, you make a ton of money with the damage that happens from that storm.
Yeah, and any pent up demand. Like honestly, 08, 09 was the toughest time I ever saw, but like I still did deals, guys.
Millions.
And so, but the problem is a majority of investors, real estate investors, are sitting on the sideline and they're trying to decide when to catch the falling knife. What they wanted to do is bounce off the ground and catch it on the way up. But as you guys, it's almost impossible to time a market. So we still have to make money while it's dropping. I don't think we're going to have anything like 08, 09.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, just look for great deals. And here's the secret. Do your numbers, do in large quantity your leads, and look for motivation. If there's no motivation, it doesn't work in wholesaling. So when you guys try to take people off FSBOs that have no motivation to sell below market price and the property has no issues, they have no issues, move on. Let them talk to a realtor, because that's what realtors need to do. They need to talk them off the ledge. And even the realtors have to beat them up the list for a realistic price. For us to get them to come to the water, I used to do it my first 3 years. I tried to talk to everyone. I've learned I only focus on people that have a motivating factor. Everybody else is a waste of my time. If you want to do the rest, go get your realtor's license and do the wholesaling part-time, and you're going to wind up being a full-time realtor like everybody else who does the business.
I agree. It's guys, a lot of wholesalers, they get so freaked out at what the industry says. And if you just focus on yourself and making money, you'll do well. So guys, that's pretty much it on this side. Guys, don't be freaking out of this recession.
Yeah,
at Wholesale.com, we teach it all.
Yeah, and you guys, if you're on this live stream, you have a slight interest in wholesaling, you can't do what 95% of the rest of the world does. So if you buy into that fear and that mantra, then you're just going to be controlled by everybody and you're never going to get ahead. You're going to have to do stuff that makes you uncomfortable, and you're going to have to do the opposite of what your friends and family does. It doesn't mean you love them any less. It just means you want more and you demand more from yourself. Remember, at the end of the day, you're the only person to make yourself accountable. No coach, no guru, not me, not Zach. At the end of the day, if you can't have honest conversations with what you truly want in life, then all the gurus in the world can help you figure it out. And that's like the big secret. A lot of people think they can just pay someone and their problem solved. Honestly, you just started your journey, because most people decide that's not what I signed up for. And then they're embarrassed. And then they usually wind up with people like me and Zach and go, hey, I want to help you out. And they're like, well, how do I pay you back? Hey, let me show you how to get a deal. And if you want to partner up with us, I'm fine with it, or just watch my videos.
Exactly. Guys, go to freelisting.com. It's how we teach it all.